All right. Good afternoon, folks. This is Barefoot Grandpa, April behind the camera, and Roxy under the table. And it's been a bit since a video, so it's time for a new one. And as you see, I've graduated to one crutch. Leg is doing well, healing good, and doctor's happy. So it won't be too long before I can start bending it and actually getting back to dancing. So today, we are going to talk about sleeping bags. It's wintertime, and may not seem like it here in Ventura because we got a gorgeous day, but we do have leaves. And once I get back on my feet, I'll take care of the yard, but for now it's going wild. Sleeping bags today. As you can see, I have a pretty good quiver of bags. April counted, and I think she counted 9 bags, and that doesn't even include my very first one, which is long gone. So I'm going to go through different types of sleeping bags, and from easy, simple to complicated, and so you can either spend a lot of money or not much money at all. First off, we're going to just show a simple rectangular bag that will do for most people in just casual camping. If you're car camping, if you're in a tent, if you're with a family, these things are inexpensive, they're comfortable, and roomy. And there goes a crutch. So you can get these at Big 5 off of Amazon. Comfortable, warm, but they don't compress very well, and they're not going to be the best bag for cold temperatures or for backpacking. But for just regular common use, they're awesome. And I'll use it out here on the porch in the evening and just cover myself up in my recliner outside and read. So comfy, handy, cheap. Oh, and this is a synthetic bag, so it is fiber fill, which is quite good in the rain or moisture, but it doesn't compress very well. Now, moving on. Here's another fun little guy. This is just, I think it was from one of our kids. It's a small little mummy bag from Kelty. And I'm not sure Kelty's still even in business. Very thin, lightweight mummy bag is compared to a rectangular bag. Again, light, relatively inexpensive, great for kids. It's not going to do you too well if it's very cold. This is probably about what they'd call maybe a 40-degree bag. Fun. Now, this one is the first down bag that we're going to talk about. This is a desert bag, what I call. This is a very lightweight 40-degree mummy bag, and it's medium or regular size, so it's a little bit short for me, but it's down. The nice thing about down is it has a really nice warmth, it's really light, and it compresses really well. So this goes down to the size of about a small football. Comfy, warm, light, compressible. At a 40-degree bag, and I'll talk a little bit about the degrees of the bags, this is a lightweight bag. So it's good in the desert, it's good in the summer, but it's not going to keep you warm in the winter. Cool thing is, I've got this nice little hood. You put it on, you tighten this down, and it snugs you right up. Now, some people don't like mummy bags because they say they're constrictive. I like it. I'm fine in the mummy bag. It just means that I move around, the bag moves with me. Lightweight, 40-degree bag. Here's an example of how compressible down is. This is a 20-degree bag, so this is now getting into a 3-season bag: summer, fall, and spring. And this is probably the bag I use the most. And you can see how big it is. North face. It is down. We open her up. And this is an extra large bag, or a long bag, so it's plenty long enough for me. Once you pull it out of your stuff sack, fluff it up, and you're good in, like I say, up until it gets really cold. The degrees on the bags, they aren't absolute. Like, don't go to North Face and say, you sold me a 20-degree bag, but it didn't work. It was only 30 and I was freezing. Well, it's just a relative measurement. 20-degree bag, good 3-season bag. Summer, spring, fall. Winter, probably not unless you're protected or have a blanket to go over the top. It's also got this cool hood. It's got a nice collar around it, so it tucks in as you sleep. Nice and warm. Little Velcro gizmo to help keep it closed. And this one even has a little zipper thingy to put your keys in. Not big enough for your phone. 20-degree bag. Where are we? Oh, now, fiber fill. This is Mountain Smith Red Cloud. This is a fiber fill bag that I bought to take to Alaska when I was on a river trip, a river float trip, where we were going to be in tents and a good chance of it raining. The nice thing about fiber fill is it can get wet and still maintains its insulation. Comfortable. This is also a regular, so it's just a tiny bit short for me. Comfortable. Fiber fill. Good in the wet. Doesn't compress as much as down. So for wet areas, if you're say in the Midwest where you're dealing with a lot of rain or wet snow, you may want to consider fiber fill. Now, it does not compress as well as down. But that was a good purchase, and it wasn't very expensive. That's one thing about fiber fill, is it's quite a bit cheaper than down. And it came with its own stuff sack, a compression sack, which I'll either show in this video or another one. What else do I have in here? Oh, I got a bag liner. This is what one of the, it's made out of a bed sheet that April made for me. So I'll just put this thing on, crawl into the sleeping bag. It adds some more warmth and tends to keep your bag cleaner, especially if you've been hot and sweaty all day, or sweaty. That keeps your bag cleaner. I like bag liners. Now we're getting into the heavy dutier ones. Marmot. Okay, now we're moving into higher performance bags and higher cost bags. So there we're no longer an inexpensive bag, but these are just awesome. So this is a 0-degree bag with a lot more down and a lot more warmth. Again, down, this is my winter bag. So camping outside or in a tent in the winter, the features are actually really quite nice. It has a double collar on the inside, all this wonderful, lovely down, and they've tried really hard to make it to where the zippers don't snag. There is no unsnaggable zipper yet, but this, see, I just snagged it right there. But they're close. Marmot, another very good brand. Again, a high performance winter bag. And now, the beast. This one is, this one's a minus 30-degree bag. This is a bag that expands to take up all available space. Minus 30. This is a bag I bought to use in the big mountains in South America where we were up to 20,000 feet and it was really cold. -30. It's Mountain Hardwear, and this is a Gore-Tex bag. So there's a Gore-Tex layer which helps keep the moisture out of the bag, which is really important. Because sleeping that high, you get a lot of condensation in your tent, and that helps keep the down dry. So this is a wonderful bag, but I hardly ever need it because I almost never get to -30 anymore. That's nice to have. So, Mountain Hardwear, Gore-Tex, lots of nice features. I remember being in a 2-man tent with 3 people and the guys complaining that my sleeping bag used up all the space in the tent. That's a pretty good bunch of sleeping bags. Last but not least, the North Face fiberfill bag that we've had for a long time. April and the boys gave this to me for Christmas quite a few years ago. Also a very nice, high quality fiberfill bag. Nice and warm, good in the moisture, good in the wet, but it's pretty big, pretty bulky. Tried this in our car top tent, loved it, but it's still a little bit bulky. It wouldn't even allow me to close the car top tent because it's a little too big. So, quite a bit heavier than down, not anywhere near as compressible, less expensive. And the one thing about fiberfill too is over time, the fibers break down. Where down pretty much will last forever, but fiberfill bags will eventually break down and lose some of their insulation. So there we went from relatively inexpensive, actually inexpensive rectangular bag from Costco or Big 5 to quite expensive, and this thing might have been I think it was close to 700 bucks, but I got it on sale for about 400. So these guys get expensive. Don't buy one of those unless you really need it. These guys are probably in the $100 to $200 range. It's been a while since I bought a sleeping bag, so I'm not too sure what the costs are. That's it. One thing about storage, especially with down and fiberfill, store them in these big loose bags. Don't store them compressed, especially with fiberfill, because that will tend to break down the fibers. Store them in these big guys, nice and dry in the attic, and that's it. So come on over. And that's Barefoot Grandpa's talk today about sleeping bags. So enjoy, have some fun this winter, sleep out, explore, be good humans, and we'll see you next time.